My Platinum Trophy collection spans over 160 Platinum Trophies, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the Platinum Trophies that I am most proud of. Starting off the list here is Spec Ops: The Line. Now, I'm mainly proud about this one because of, the inherent difficulty is definitely there, but also because this was such a surprising game that I never expected to love or appreciate as much as I do. And I'm not a big military shooter, first-person shooter type gamer. Like, those aren't the sort of games or experiences that I typically gravitate towards. And so I ended up, walking away from Spec Ops: The Line, just kind of feeling like it was incredible. Actually, one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games from that era. And also, fun fact, the game is being removed from digital storefronts such as Steam. So I would recommend, if you go grab a physical copy before they go up in price. It's really upsetting, it's another licensing issue at this point. The thing is, Spec Ops: The Line is more than you would, it looks on the surface to be like a generic military shooter type game, but it's not. It's actually, it asks a lot out of the player and it puts you in some very difficult and uncomfortable situations. Now, like I mentioned, I am proud about this one because completing the game on the foobar difficulty is pretty challenging. There's actually one challenge, or one chapter I should say, where you're being chased down by a helicopter and it's super brutal. It really is, for some reason, just one of the hardest chapters in my opinion. But aside from that, the story, the writing, the overall experience that this game creates, it just drew me in. And it's definitely a game that I still remember to this day as being an incredible ride from start to finish. And again, it asks some big questions out of the player and really puts you in some tough situations. That makes you think. And a lot of military shooters don't ask that much of players, and they don't do things that Spec Ops: The Line has done. And so for that reason, I'm very proud of this one. Next up on the list here, we've got Bloodborne. Yes, of course, we all know Bloodborne. And even though I have the platinums for Demon Souls and Elden Ring, Bloodborne's platinum still means so much more to me than those other games. Mainly because I just love Bloodborne. It's world, its characters, its fast gameplay. That was such a different experience from the other Souls games up until that point. But Bloodborne really changed up the pace of combat and made things a bit more fast-paced and intense, kind of rewarding you for getting into the combat right away, kind of taking risks and, trying to regain your health that was lost whenever you would take damage. I just loved that playstyle. I sunk tons of hours into this game because of its, its overall amazing world building that's on display here, and just the mood, the overall tone and the mood of this game was just something that I really sunk my teeth into. And, there's a lot of reasons I can kind of keep going on about why I think Bloodborne is incredible, and why I'm proud to have the Platinum Trophy in my collection. I mean, it is challenging by nature. It is a Soulsborne game. It is a challenge to kind of get the Platinum. That's definitely one reason why I am proud of the Platinum Trophy. But this game still is truly unlike anything else I've played. And it has left a lasting impression on me to this day and still remains as my favorite Soulsborne game to date. With just so many memorable boss fights, and again, that atmosphere and that overall mood that it kind of sets in place when you first start up the game. It is truly something special, unlike anything I played still. And I'm just waiting on that remake/remaster whenever that decides to become a thing. I'm waiting for it. Next up here, we've got Persona 5. And now Persona 5 was my very first Persona game that I ever played. So naturally, it holds a special place in my heart just because of that reason alone. It's the first Persona game. It introduced me to all the other Persona games that I've played past the, Persona 5. And it's honestly one of those things where a lot of people told me, oh, you're going to love this game. It's going to change your life. It's going to be like crazy awesome game. And I was like, sure, whatever. It looks interesting, but I'll give it a shot. And I never expected to love this game as much as I did, and as much as I still do. And at a playtime of over 150 hours, Persona 5 is an exceptional game. It introduced me to the Persona games, like I mentioned. And the other thing of it is the Platinum was just a lot of fun and something I look back on as being a great experience from start to finish. And honestly, I would do again, and have thought about doing again. For other versions of Persona 5. It's a far easier platinum than something like Persona 4 Golden as an example, which that platinum is insane. You have to basically have like a bunch of spreadsheets in front of you in order to figure out how to max out all of your social links. It's just like, it's not that fun in my opinion, while the Persona 5 platinum is way more enjoyable overall. And I am proud of having this platinum in my collection because it was a major time sink, but it was also something that I enjoyed spending my time playing. It was something that I enjoyed from the very beginning up until the very, very final hours, and I'm grateful for the overall experience that I had while playing this game. Naturally, this is a very long game, so it took me several months to complete. I would spend a few weeks playing the game consistently, then I would take a few days off or take a week off from playing the game just so I could really savor the amount of time that I spent with the game. And so ultimately, it did take me like a couple of months to complete. And it was weird. And actually, this kind of added to the experience. Since it took me so long to complete the game, it almost felt like I was going through each of these semesters of school with the main cast of characters, which I thought was pretty cool. Not many games have given me that sort of experience before. Now, I'm looking forward. I can't wait to sink some time into Persona 3 Reload, but I still know nothing will eclipse my experience or my overall time spent playing Persona 5. It really is truly a remarkable game and something that I just value quite a bit and am proud to have in my Platinum Trophy collection. Next here is Returnal. This is the first roguelike on this list and one of the best in its genre, in my opinion. It's an easy enough game to pick up and play, but make no mistake, this game is quite challenging for sure. Now, I am proud of this one because it is a challenging game, like I mentioned, but one that also involved a lot of grinding and RNG, which kind of made the trophy list a little bit more needlessly complicated, we'll just say. And even though the game has been patched over time to sort of lessen the RNG nature of some of the trophies, it's still a lot of grinding, and it does ask a lot of the player to kind of keep playing the same sections over and over and over again. One of the things that I love about Returnal is its overall open-endedness in terms of the game's overall story, because it really asks and tasks the player to kind of formulate their own interpretation of the sequence of events in the game, and nothing's really doled out to players. You're not kind of like, here's exposition dump, here's this exposition dump, here's this character, here's this. There's really none of that. And that kind of makes things even more surreal and engaging, and at least for me it did. As I kind of chipped away at the platinum, it really added to the overall experience of playing the game. And kind of talking about the game itself, I really personally loved the core game loop. I loved the elusive central plot line at the very core of the game, and I also enjoyed the various boss fights and thought that thematically and also just presentationally and just many other reasons, I think that the boss fights serve a very distinctive purpose, and they are cinematic and very fun. And overall, I think just Returnal's a gem of a game, and I'm proud to have its platinum trophy. I'm proud to have spent as much time as I have with the game, and I'm excited to see what Housemarque does next, because they are always consistent in their quality, and their execution is just spot on. And I really love them as a studio, and Returnal is just an exceptional game. Next here is It Takes Two. This one is really important to me, mainly because I actually played this game start to finish with my partner, and we had a blast. This is like one of our favorite games that we played together. I mean, it is, I think it's one of the best, if not the best co-op game I've played in years. And it's super impressive. If you can play this game with a friend, with a partner, with somebody on the same couch, locally, it is such an amazing experience. It's such a fun game, and it really does have a good combination of storytelling and gameplay. And yeah, there's really nothing else like It Takes Two, in my opinion, when it comes to co-op. I mean, we were both amazed by like how tight the gameplay was. There was always some new mechanic being introduced to keep players engaged and sort of working as a team, collaborating together and having fun. Even though it's a somewhat easy platinum, it really isn't too challenging at all. So it's not like I'm proud of it because it's such a hard platinum to get. But I think just being able to share such an incredible experience with somebody in the moment is what makes this game really special and memorable for me personally. And I am proud of this platinum trophy because the game just kind of managed to give myself and my partner this really engaging, fun, cooperative experience that we really haven't been able to see in other games. And just so, it added to the overall experience that the game just has a lot of humor, ever-changing gameplay that sort of, like I said, kind of constantly keeps players on their toes. It always introduces new mechanics over time. And it also happens to have a really solid story at the core. Next here is What Remains of Edith Finch. Now, this is, again, a very easy platinum. No doubt whatsoever. It's a very easy platinum. But it is one that means so much to me personally. I've sort of talked about this game non-stop throughout many different videos on this channel, but this is one of the greatest games I've ever played. Indie game, AAA game, AA, whatever. This is one of my favorite, most enjoyable experiences that I've ever had playing a game. It's inventive in its design. You're never bored. The central location and its overall art direction, its sound design, it's so masterful. And this is, one of those games that, like I said, I've gushed about every single time it's brought up because it really is a masterpiece. And I want more people to look it out, to seek it out, and to actually give it a shot and try it. And What Remains of Edith Finch, whenever I look back on this game's platinum, I can't help but remember some of my favorite sequences in this game, whether it's, working at a cannery, swinging on a swing set, this game just has so many memorable set pieces, and the game manages to evoke so much from, again, its art direction, music, its voice acting, and its location. The location itself, the design of the Finch's house is expertly done, and it really does feel, I can't explain it any more than I have in other videos, but the central design of the house itself is something that I'll always remember, and it's one of my favorite locations in games of all time. So I am proud, not because this is the most challenging platinum of all time, but I'm proud because it's a game that it just holds up incredibly well. And I don't think there are many other games quite like this one. And so that is why I'm proud of having the platinum trophy in this game, because it's just a game that I really love, really admire, and I would easily go and play anytime. Next up here is Bioshock. Now, the trophy list itself, the platinum trophy, is challenging. That is a guarantee. But that's not why I'm proud of this platinum trophy. I initially played this game years ago on the Xbox 360, and, I was blown away by its super lived-in world, its exceptionally designed locations, its well-crafted story. And years after its release, I actually replayed the game again on PlayStation 3 when it was released on that system. And, I was shocked by how well the game still managed to make me feel this sense of wonder and dread. And it was like I was replaying the game for the first time when it initially had come out. And it made me realize that this is truthfully a timeless classic, and it remains as one of the most important video games of all time, I think. As I've already kind of alluded to, this trophy list and the platinum trophy for Bioshock is challenging. And, I am mainly proud of the Bioshock platinum trophy because of the fact that I was able to beat it on its hardest difficulty without using one of the Vita chambers, which is like a save system in the game. And that alone is very hard. And this is, one aspect in terms of why I'm super proud to have this platinum trophy. Even though it's challenging, I think it's a challenge worth diving into because, again, the game itself still remains as one of the most important games of all time. And it really is impressive to me how much the game still holds up. Even on, by today's standards, it still holds up. And while I think Bioshock 2 manages to kind of have slightly better systems such as researching splicers, Bioshock 1 did just so much for the industry and, when it came out initially, and it still manages to leave an impact on me whenever I play it all these years later. So I'm definitely proud of having Bioshock's platinum in my platinum trophy collection. Okay, next here is Enter the Gungeon. Where to begin with this one? This is one of the hardest platinums I've ever attempted to go for, and I actually did a video recently where I ranked some of my hardest platinums I've ever earned so far, and that included Enter the Gungeon. Now, I'm proud of this one mainly because I never thought I would get the platinum for it. This is just a very challenging game. I never thought I was going to be able to achieve a platinum. Once I finally completed one full run of the game, I kind of said to myself, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe this isn't as unachievable as I once thought it was. And after about 80 or so hours, I finally got the platinum trophy. And make no mistake, the cutesy art style that this game has makes it look, deceptively easier than it actually is. But make no mistake, this game presents a true challenge. But again, if you're up for the challenge, it's one of the most rewarding experiences I think you'll have playing a game. And also to mention that this is a roguelike, just like Returnal. So there is a lot of luck and RNG-based trophies present in the trophy list, which kind of adds to the overall complexity of the platinum trophy itself. But once I finally got the platinum trophy, it really made me feel unstoppable. It was a very good feeling, and I'm very proud to have this one in my collection. Okay, so here we are at the last game here. This is Overwatch, Overwatch 2. Without a doubt, the platinum trophy that I am most proud of is Overwatch 2. Up until Overwatch, I really hadn't played, or I hadn't really been invested in an online shooter since the days of Halo 3 back on the Xbox 360. I really wasn't a big first-person shooter fan. Halo 3 was the exception to the rule. And then so many years later, Overwatch kind of brought me back into that space. And I really, really dug Overwatch when it first came out. I mean, you have a great cast of characters, excellent voice acting, sound design, character design, art direction, and deep gameplay mechanics that are sort of the main pillars that kind of kept me coming back for more, and it kept me and my close group of friends playing till so many late hours every single night. Now, Overwatch has changed over the years, and I really don't play it as much anymore, but I am proud to have the platinum trophy in this game because this game left an impact on me as someone who plays games, someone who, just kind of uses games to escape from some of the stuff that I deal with on a daily basis, and it manages to hold a special place in my heart to this day as well. Now, achieving the long list of extremely luck and skill-based online multiplayer-only trophies was no easy feat and was incredibly demanding. The Floor is Lava and Rapid Discord are just two of the many difficult and luck-based trophies that you'll kind of be up against when you try to achieve the platinum trophy for Overwatch. And I struggled to get these trophies for years. I'm actually showing some general footage of, these harder trophies that I finally, after so many years of trying to get, unlocked just in random lobbies. But, now with Overwatch 2, I think things have become a bit harder to get these, these various trophies for, mainly because the characters have been rebalanced constantly. There's a ton of patches for passive abilities for each of the different roles in the game. So it's made some characters a little bit easier and some characters a little bit harder to get the various trophies for. No matter what, regardless of patches and whatnot, it's a very hard trophy list to just kind of say to yourself, yeah, I'm going to get the platinum. It's just very, very difficult. But, I think aside from that, I'm proud to have the Overwatch Platinum Trophy in my collection because it is one of those games where I just sunk hundreds of hours into, and ultimately, I was able to get one of the hardest platinums ever for me. And it's something that I look back on with fond memories and pride. A lot of great memories. I played this game with a ton of awesome people, had a ton of fun playing it. No matter what, I think Overwatch is my proudest platinum. It is one thing that I look back on and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I spent the time to play the game in the first place, but I'm also glad that I was able to kind of get the platinum at the end of the day as well. That is going to do it for today's video on my proudest platinum trophies. Thanks again for sticking around to the end, and I will see you all on the next video.